Okay, hi there. Let's get started. For the purpose of this video, I am not going to be doing question 1. Question 1 is your speed question. There's no use in me demonstrating this, as the speed question just asks you to type as quickly and accurately as you can. So for the purpose of this video tutorial, we are going to start on question 2, computer concepts and file management. You are welcome to download the question paper. I will provide links at the bottom where you can download the question paper and the student files. Okay, question 2, instruction number 1. It says retrieve the document saved as question 2 in the student files folder, which means there's already been a document created for you. You just need to go and fetch it. To do this, we go to File, you say Open, you say Browse, and you go into your student files folder. Look for question 2 and open it, and this is what it looks like. Instruction number 2, this question must be answered in the file named question 2 in the student files folder. Instruction number 3, type your examination number in the header against the left margin. Now we already have a header here at the top, and we are supposed to type our examination number, which is also our ID number, up there. Two ways you can do this. You can go to Insert, you can say Header, and from the list you can choose Edit Header. There's a quicker way to do this though. All you need to do is double click inside the header and your mouse will jump into the header. Take out that examination number and type in your ID number. Close the header and footer once you are done. Okay, question 3 says that was type your examination number. Question 4, save and print the answer sheet. After completing the answers, you will only print once you are finished with this question. Okay, question 2.1 says choose a description from column B that matches a term in column A. These are some theory questions. The theory chapter can be found in your textbook, and you'll find most of the answers in there. So if you study the theory chapter, which is not a lot, you should be able to get most of your marks for the theory portion of this question paper. 2.1.1 says a scanner, and then we have to look in column B and find which description best matches a scanner. And in this case it would be A device that scans documents and converts them into digital data. Number 2.1.2, random access memory, your RAM. This is the computer's temporary storage. So let's look for something in column B that matches. Number C, if you read there, it says temporarily stores data serving as the computer's working memory. So this would be number C there. 2.1.3, system software. This is the software that your computer needs for you in order to interact with it. And if we look at the explanations there on the right, there's an example there of Microsoft Windows. Yes, okay, so system software would be something like Microsoft Windows. That would then be F. Central processing unit, or your CPU, is the heart of your computer. So let's look at a description in column B and see which one works best. Number H, if you read there, it says consists of the main memory, control unit and logic unit. So I'm going to put the H. Next one we have is application software. Now don't get confused, we had system software first and now we have application software. Application software are programs like Microsoft Word or Excel or any application that you install onto the computer. So if we look there, it would be number G. It would be number G. Application software includes database programs, word processors, web browsers, spreadsheets, etc. Okay, number 2.1.6, a compact disc or a CD. Okay, just look for an explanation on the right that matches this. It would be, I don't see it on the right now. Oh, there it is, number E. A portable storage medium that can be used to record, store and play back audio, video and other digital data in digital form. We don't really use CDs anymore because we've moved on to USB sticks, flash drives. So it would be number E there. 2.1.7, read-only memory. This then would be Number D, limited memory and form small parts of the total memory of the computer. So this would then be number D. 2.1.8, input devices. This would be anything that you plug into the computer. So let's look for an explanation there on the right. There we go. Number B, hardware components that enable users to interact with a computer. So there we go. These are your answers for 2.1. Okay. 2.2. State how to change the ruler setting in MS Word from inches to centimeters. Make use of the print screen function to paste an image of the dialog box showing the steps in the space provided on the answer sheet. Now, you are supposed to put in a print screen here, so you can take out the text that's written in there. And then they want us to change this ruler. At the moment it's inches, and they want us to change it to centimeters. To do this, you would go to File, you would go to Options, you would look for Advanced, and you would keep going down until you find either centimeters or inches. So keep your mouse on centimeters to indicate to the examiner that you know where to change this. On your keyboard, press Print Screen. You can click on OK. Go back into your little box and then click on Paste. And there is your answer. This is proof that you know how to change from centimeters to inches. Okay, 2.3 rather, is file management questions. So we are going to need to open up Windows here. We're going to go to our student files folder. Okay, there it is. So we are going to have to keep the Windows open as well as the Word. Please remember that you can switch between them by clicking here at the bottom taskbar. You don't need to close any one of them, we can just switch between them. Okay, let's give this a go. 2.3. Open this file structures illustrated below, which was created in the student file folder, and apply the instructions. So this was the file structure that they gave to us. Okay, so it's a time management folder, and inside the time management folder you would find two subfolders, one called Advantages and one called Tools. Okay, so let's go on. 2.3.1 says create the files in the time management folder so please make sure that you are not in Advantages or Tools. Make sure that you are inside time management by following the instructions below. 2.3.2 create a text file called to-do list and create a spreadsheet file called calendar. Make a print screen image of the contents of the time management folder in the space provided on the answer sheet. Now, contents means they want to see what is inside the time management folder. So like I said before we start this, we know we must create two files now. Make sure that you are inside time management. You can check it there, it would be highlighted in blue, or we can check it here at the top and see that we are inside time management. So let's start. Text file. To do this, any white space, right click, go to new, and we choose a text document. We are supposed to call this to do, and then our to do list. If you make a mistake, just right click, rename, and we can go and change the name. Then we have to create a spreadsheet file called calendar. Same steps, any white space, right click, new, Microsoft Excel worksheet. This is a spreadsheet, and this one has to be called calendar. Okay, there we go. Okay, now we need to make a print screen image of the contents of time management. So like I said, make sure you are not in Advantages or in Tools. Make sure you are in time management. Okay, there we can see all the two folders and the two files inside the time management folder. And all I do now is I press print screen on my keyboard, switch back to Microsoft Word, take out the text here, it's not needed, and paste. And there we go. Don't worry if it goes over 2 pages, that is fine. That's fine. You would not be penalized for this. Okay, we're going on with the instructions. 2.3.3, so we need to switch back to our Windows Explorer. 2.3.3 says create a subfolder called Disadvantages in the time management folder. So again, make sure you are inside time management. We need to create another folder here. Same steps that we did when we made the files. Right click on any white space, new, and this time you would choose folder. This new folder is supposed to be called disadvantages. And okay, that's instruction 2.3.3. 2.3.4, it says copy the folder tools in the time management folder and rename the folder to time tools. Now this is actually very strange because they want us to just make a copy of this, and then we're going to say paste. Now we have a tools copy. Okay, I'm just going to repeat that step. So right click on tools, say copy, right click on any white space and say paste, and it would make a duplicate of the tools folder. This new folder we are supposed to call time tools, so right click on it and you say rename, and we can call it time tools. It's easy as that. Okay, that was instruction 2.3.4. 2.3.5, change the view to extra large icons and make a print screen image of the contents of the time management folder. So to change the view, you go to the top where it says view, and they want extra large icons. They want it to look like this. Okay. We have to make a print screen image of the contents of the time management folder. Again, make sure you are in time management. Print screen on your keyboard, switch back to Word, make sure you're inside that little box, and we say paste, and there we go. This was question number 2. It counts 30 marks, and just be careful because the time allocated for this question is only 15 minutes. Please try and adhere to the time frames given to you. Okay, let's start with question 3a. Question 3a is your business letter, and let's just read through the instructions there quickly. Information: the principal would like you to help him with the following letter on tips that staff members can use to improve their time management skills. Then we have a little table there with instructions. The only thing I want you to look at there at the moment is that your time allocation for this question is only 30 minutes and it counts out of a total of 60 marks. There's some instructions as well. Instruction number 1, retrieve the document saved as question 3 from the student file folder, which means there's a document we need to open before we start. So let's do that first. You go to file, you go to open, you go to browse, go to your student files folder and find question 3. Now if you look at this, question 3 is a business letter we're going to do, and the one that we opened up is a letterhead, so it means we're going to type our business letter here under the letterhead. Now before you start and do anything, please always make sure that this show hide key is turned on. You'll find this in the home tab. There is your show hide key. It makes a little hohai key on the page. This is there to help you count open lines and to count spaces. It's very good practice to always type with this thing turned on. Okay, so let's start with the instructions there at the top in the little table there. It says document is a business letter, line spacing single. So what you do, highlight everything. Easier way to do this is Control and A on your keyboard. Go to line spacing, make sure it is on single. Single is your 1,0. Okay, next instruction. It says paper A4 portrait. It is already A4 portrait. If you want to check this, you can go to layout, you can go to size, and you will see that it is on an A4 page. And you can also look at the orientation. It is already portrait. This is standard for any document that you start in Microsoft Word. Like I said, time allocation 30 minutes, marks 60. Font, the font of everything we type now, not the heading. You're not allowed to change the font in the letterhead, so please keep that as it is. We are not going to highlight anything. Just make sure you've clicked where you are supposed to start your document, and now just double check the font. It is supposed to be Courier New size 12. Then we have to do margins. Margins you'll find under layout. Under margins, please do not choose one from this list. Choose custom margins, And before you change margins, look at your question paper, look at your computer. We can see that my computer at the moment is showing me centimeters. The question paper gives you margins left and right in inches and in centimeters. So if your computer is in inches, please use the inches. If yours is in centimeters, please use the centimeters. We are supposed to change the left margin to 3,81. Just careful, when we use centimeters, we are supposed to put in a comma, not a full stop. Okay, and then for the right would be 2,54. It is already on 2,54 for the right, so this is perfect. I can just click OK. You'll see that we have a bigger margin on the left now. Okay, next instruction, justification must be left or off. This just means make sure in your home tab that it is on left align. We don't want to justify, we want to left align. And then we are going to start with the question paper itself. Before we start, that instruction number 2 says insert your examination number and question number as a footer against the left margin as follows. So insert, we can say footer. Please do not choose one from the list, choose edit footer. We are on the left, so this is where we are supposed to type our examination number, which is your ID number. And we are supposed to type question 3A as well. Close the header and footer once you're done, and now we can start with our little letter there. Good practice, if you have a letterhead, please always make sure you have one open line before we start with the rest of the document. I see my spaces look a bit big. I think this is because if you go to line spacing options, please make sure your spacing after is on 0. Press enter again, there we go. Now the space there, you can see the difference there. It's not nearly as big as it was before, so please make sure you go to line spacing options. The spacing after must always be on 0 points. Okay, one line open, then we start. First instruction there, if you look at the question paper, page 12, it says insert today's date in full. Today's date for me would be 24 April 2020. This is when you type a date in full. The day, the month in full, and then the year. Press enter twice if you look at the manuscript sign there. Okay, then we have a little star that says insert. What is it we need to insert here? If you go to page 13, at the very bottom we see receiver's information, and we see a star there as well. So this is what we are supposed to be insert there. This is the receiver's address that needs to go in there, and you will see the instructions there. They don't give us a lot of instructions, they just say display correctly, and then we can see Port Elizabeth is underlined. You're not supposed to underline it. The instruction there for it on the right is caps. So let's quickly do this. We type Mr. TV Gabe, you press enter, the street name Gustav Predler Street, press enter, the city over, and then when we have to type in a city, they give you the instruction here, so they do make it easy for you, but you need to remember that it must always be typed in capital letters. There we go, just like that. Okay, don't worry about the red lines. Remember, if Word does not recognize the language, if we have the strange surnames or names, it would always make a red line to indicate spelling mistake. In the case of cities, names and surnames, you can ignore it. Just double check your question paper that you've typed it correctly. Okay, the next manuscript sign shows we need to press enter twice again, and then we have to type that sentence there. Tips to improve your time management skills. And we have some instructions there as well. It has to be uppercase, underlined and centered. So highlight your sentence to change it to uppercase. Use the change case key in the home tab, and we say uppercase. It must be underlined as well, so we are going to underline it, and then it must be centered as well. just like that. Manuscript sign shows 2 enters again. Be careful, your underline is still on, so please make sure you turn it off, and please make sure you go back to left align. We don't want to type in the center again. Okay, then we have to type sir, 2 enters again, and then when you, and look at the question paper, we have 2 words there. We have learn and we have gain, and we can see that learn has a little stipple line under it, but the instruction they give us is there on the right, and it's the instruction that says STET, state. State means it needs to stay as it is, so you always look at the word that has the stipple lines under it, and that is the word you type. And then again we see an arrow pointing down to another paragraph, and the instruction there on the right is run on, which means that paragraph there at the bottom is supposed to go after this sentence. It's supposed to, this whole thing is supposed to form one paragraph. So you just continue typing. Maintain good time management skills, comma, remember the space after a comma. You'll find freedom from deadline pressure and from stress in general. Full stop. Space after the full stop. You guys see why this show I key is nice. It allows me to see if I pressed a space. I know it might be strange to type with this the first time. When you print, it is going to look like that. It's not going to show those strange symbols. They are just there to help me count my open lines and spaces. Let's continue. You'll be more productive, comma, space, less, and then we see the little and symbol there, and it is underlined again, which means it doesn't mean you need to underline it, it means attention on this letter. And if we look on the right, there's an instruction that says in full, which just means you need to type and in full. And I have more time to relax, comma, which helps further decrease stress. And again we see the and there again, it's got the same underline as the previous one, so it means it's the same as instruction applies to this one. We need to type it in full. And then we see the word anxiety, and it's underlined again. Again, this does not mean you need to underline it. There is a mistake there, or there's an instruction on the right that says SP. SP means it's a spelling mistake. You are supposed to just fix the spelling of that word. 2 enters, and we go to the next page. Next paragraph. Time management skills are like shoes or a good pair of jeans. Space, hyphen, space. You may have to try several days before you find the right fit. Okay. Then we see a paragraph. They're different from each other, from each person, and you have to find what works best for you. Now you can see that whole sentence, or that whole sentence has a line through it, and on the right we have an instruction that says delete. Okay, which means that whole sentence needs to be deleted. Now you'll see after this paragraph that I typed, the one that ends with you find just the right fit, there's no manuscript signs to tell me how many lines to leave open now. But if you look just after the scratched outline, it says below are a few tips, and in front of that below we have a little bracket there. Now if you go to the right, that little bracket means NP, which is new paragraph, and we know that a new paragraph is separated by an open line. So 2 enters again. I need to have that open line to separate a new paragraph. Okay, manuscript sign shows 2 enters. Now, before I type these paragraphs, to make it easier for you, I need you guys to look at the bottom, almost at the end, just above where it says yours sincerely. It says arrange paragraphs in correct order and apply numbers as indicated. So the best thing for you to do is make sure you type these paragraphs in the correct order. You will see they are numbered. We have paragraph 1, then 3, then 2, then 4. So please make sure you type these paragraphs in the correct order. We will apply the numbering after we've typed the paragraphs. Okay, so let's start. First one is make a list, and we have instructions there on the right, and we see make a list is supposed to be bold and uppercase. UC stands for uppercase. So we're going to type it in uppercase, make a list, and we have to make this bold. So highlight that sentence, and there is your bold button at the top. Okay, make a list, and then next to make a list, in front of the reason for making lists, we see that bracket again, and on the right we have an instruction for a new paragraph. So enter twice. Be careful, your bold is still switched on. Switch it off before we continue typing, otherwise you're going to type the whole paragraph in bold. The reason for making lists is that actually have to use them. Full stop, space. You may want to set reminders on your phone and computer. Full stop. There we go. Okay, so first paragraph done. Now the next paragraph is number 3, so we're not supposed to type that one now. The next one we need to type is the one that says set deadlines. So 2 enters according to the manuscript sign, and I type set deadlines. I see it's underlined again. It's the same underline as we had before when we typed make a list. You guys will see each paragraph, the first 2 words or 3 words, make a list, stop multitasking, set deadlines, reward yourself, all of them have the same underline, which means all of them have the same instructions that need to be applied to them. So we have to do the same thing we did there with make a list. You need to highlight it, change it to uppercase, make it bold, 2 enters, turn off my bold, and then I can type the paragraph. Again, you will see in front of again there was the new paragraph symbol, so that is why I pressed enter twice. Again, there is no point in, and if you look at these words now, it says again there is no point in deadlines setting if you continually decide to push them back. Deadlines setting, you can already see that does not sound right, and we have a little symbol there. There's a bracket, a kind of line that goes around the 2 words deadlines and setting, and on the right we have an instruction that says TRS. TRS means transpose. It just means those 2 words need to swap around, so it is supposed to say setting deadlines. If you continually decide to push them back, set a deadline and try your best to stick to it. Full stop. Okay, we are done with paragraph number 2. Now we need to look for paragraph number 3. Paragraph number 3 is the one that starts with stop multitasking, and again I know that stop multitasking is supposed to be uppercase and bold, so let's just make it bold again. 2 enters, turn off the bold, stop multitasking, so let's go. Again, it's going to be a new paragraph. That's why I pressed enter twice. We can see the new paragraph symbol in front of multi, and then look at the word multitaskers. We have the little lines there, and all these lines mean is we need to join those 2 words. It's supposed to be one word. No, my caps lock is still on. Multitaskers. Okay. Often seem to think they get more accomplished, comma, remember your space after a comma, but it's not always. And we see a forward slash there. Please never ever type the forward slash like I did here. The manuscript, this is a manuscript sign. So if you see a forward slash, you are supposed to type the word the. Okay, so the most productive or efficient route. Full stop. Okay, done with paragraph number 3. We're getting to the end of our page now, so don't worry, you don't need to do anything, you just continue typing. It will create a secondary page by itself. So again, 2 enters to go to a new paragraph. Paragraph 4 starts with reward yourself, and again, I know this has the same instructions as these other headings. It needs to be uppercase and it needs to be bold. Enter twice, turn off my bold, and I start with my paragraph there. When you accomplish something, comma, space, and I see celebrate it is underlined. There's an underline there. It doesn't mean you must underline. If they want you to underline, they'll give you a physical instruction to underline. What needs to happen is here is you look on the right, the first instruction I see there is italics. So I am going to type celebrate it, exclamation mark, highlight, including the exclamation mark, because it is also underlined in the question paper. Apply the italics, click at the end of the sentence, turn off my italics, and I continue. How you celebrate is up to you. Full stop. Okay, and after this I see a new paragraph symbol again. So enter, enter. This will take us to our second page, and I'm just going to type. I see the sentence is underlined, which means something must happen to this, or not sentence, this paragraph. Something must happen to it. It must be bold, it must be uppercase, and it must be center. So I'm going to type it normally first, because if I type everything uppercase, it is not going to show me if I make a spelling mistake. I will change it to uppercase afterwards. Time management skills are an essential part of making your day just a little easier. Full stop, space. Find what works for you and stick to it. Okay, there we go. So we've typed the paragraph, and now we can make the changes. So the changes they wanted us to make is they wanted this to be uppercase, so I'm going to change the case to uppercase. Just check that I highlighted the paragraph before I do any of the changes. In Word you need to select the paragraph, otherwise the computer is not going to know what it needs to change. So uppercase, it must be bold, and it must be center. Okay, now we've done these paragraphs, but we're still missing something. We need to go and put our numbers back. So this needs to be number 1, this needs to be number 2, number 3, number 4. This one does not need to be numbered. So what you do, highlight all the paragraphs that need to be numbered. It's going to look strange if we number it now, but don't worry, we'll fix it very quickly. Numbering button is in your home tab, paragraph group. You'll find numbering there. You can choose what type of numbering you want. We're going to stick to the same one in the question paper, which is the number followed by the full stop. Put in your numbering. First problem I see is that it did indent my numbers a little bit. So please make sure you click on the decrease indent button there at the top to make sure that it is nice and flush with the left margin. Now, if you look at the numbers, we have a problem here. This is supposed to be number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and we have some strange numbers in between. So what you do, click in front of the paragraph that must not have a number and just press backspace to take out the number. Do this for all of them, and there we go. Neat numbers, and our paragraphs are neatly indented the way they're supposed to be. Okay, almost done. Let's go on. Enter twice. Make sure you left align again. Make sure you turn off your bold. We don't want to type everything in bold. Just want to see there's no other instructions. It says yours sincerely, and it's underlined as well. I think this might be a problem in the question paper because there is no instruction on the right of yours sincerely. So unless they want us to do the same that we did before, bold, uppercase and center, but I highly doubt that. So we will just type yours sincerely enter. Okay, this would be 3 or 4 enters. Okay, and then you need to do your closing, and you need to display your closing correctly. So this will be Mr. T van Rienen. Enter principal. Okay, and both of these need to be changed to uppercase. Okay, and that's that for question 3A. Only thing you need to remember here, please make sure you turn on the show hide key. It just makes it so much easier to see if you have one line open where you're supposed to have one line open, and 3 or 4 lines open where you are supposed to have 3 or 4 lines open. Again, 30 minutes to do this question, 60 marks total. Most of the marks here go towards spelling, so before you save and print this question, make sure that you go through it and check for spelling. You guys will see there is no red lines in my document except for the names that I said you can ignore, so it means I have no spelling mistakes. If you have any spelling mistakes, please make sure to fix them as well. Okay, question 3B. Question 3B is an envelope that we need to create. It's a very short question, only counts 10 marks and you get 10 minutes to do it. At the top we have some instructions again. The document must be an DL envelope. Line spacing must be single. Paper, they say use default. Time allocation 10 minutes. Marks 10. Font Courier New, size 12. Margins use default, which means we change nothing there. Justification must be left or off. Again, we change nothing there. It's already on left. Instructions. It says you may use the letters and mailing function in MS Word to put the address on the envelope, print and place the printout in your examination folder. Instruction 2. Your examination number and question number must be typed in the return address section of the envelope. Save the document as question 3B and then print the document. To do envelopes, you go to the Mailings tab. Envelopes button is the first one here, and we're going to do all our work in here. So first thing we do, they say instruction number 2, your examination number and question number must be typed in the return address section of the envelope. So there is your return address, that is your delivery address. First thing we need to do is make sure we use the correct size. So just go to options and your envelope size here at the top, and we go and choose DL. We can do the font as well. Change the font to Courier New, size 12. Click OK. Change the font for the return address as well. Courier New, size 12. There we go. Okay, so we've changed the size, we've changed the font for the delivery address, we've changed the font for the return address. So let's start. Let's do the return address first. This would be your ID number, followed by the question number. This is question 3B. Please make sure that your ID number appears somewhere on your document. Please remember the rules with final exams. No printout is allowed to be given to you if it does not have an ID number on. Delivery address, let's type that in quickly. It's in the question paper. Montgomery, 104, Gustav. Port Elizabeth, should be in uppercase. We have an UC symbol there, and then the code. I'm just going to check the fonts again. This one looks a bit different from that one, so I'm going to go back to options. I'm going to look at the return address. It is Courier New, size 12. I'm just double checking. Okay. Now once we've done that, this is all you do for the envelope. Follow little instructions, type in the return address, type in the delivery address. You can either go straight print, or in my case I don't have a printer installed here, so I'm going to say add to document. I'm going to say no. And here on the left you have an example of what your envelope looks like. And that's all for the envelope question. 10 minutes, 10 marks. Okay, question 4, the testimonial. The information says one of the school substitute teachers would like a testimonial from the principal and he requested you to create the document. Now we've got some instructions again before our question starts. The document type is a testimonial. Line spacing needs to be single, so go to line spacing, change it to single, which is 1,0. Make sure to go to line spacing options as well. Please always make sure that line spacing after is set to 0 points unless they specify something else. Okay, paper A4 portrait. It is already A4 portrait. When we start a new document in Microsoft Word, it's always A4 portrait. Time allocation for this document is 20 minutes. Total marks is 50. The font should be Courier New, size 12. Left and right margins 1 inch or 2.54 centimeters, 2.54 centimeters. I'm not going to even change this because it's standard when you open up a new Word document that it is 1 inch left, 1 inch right. You can go and double check it if you want. You can go to layout, you can go to margins. You'll see there at the moment it is on normal. It's 2.54 left and right. So no need to change that. Justification must be on left or off, so just make sure that your document is left aligned. Instructions. Insert your examination number and question number as a header against the left margin as follows. So insert header, and we say edit header, and it has to be here on the left. So we're going to type our examination number, which is our ID number, followed by question 4. Close the header and footer once you're done. Please make sure that your show hide key is turned on. Again, this helps us count open lines and it helps us count spaces. Okay, let's get started. Okay, page 16 at the top, we start there. It says TG Elementary School. And what must happen to TG Elementary School? It must be uppercase, UC, bold, center, and 20 points. So I'm going to type mine uppercase from the very start using the caps lock. Okay, and then we can do the other instructions. We can make it bold, we can center it, and we can change it to font size 20. Just as soon as you finish doing that, click at the end of the sentence, make sure to change the size back to 12, take off the bold, because if I press enter before I change the size, it's going to create a much bigger open line space than it should. So please make sure you change it back to font size 12 when you are done. Manuscript size shows that I need to press enter 3 times. It's going to create 2 open lines. Make sure you left align again so that we type neatly against the left margin. Now before I start typing here, I see that we have a tab stop at 4 inches or 10 centimeters that we need to put in. My computer is set to centimeters at the moment, and I can see there's the 10 centimeters. There's 2 ways to do a tab stop. There's a fast way, and then there is a longer way. So we can go to the paragraph in the home tab, the paragraph group. There's a group launcher there. You can click there. This is the more accurate way. It's a longer way to do a tab stop, but it's a lot more accurate. You will see tabs there at the bottom. Click on tabs. Tab stop position must be on 10 centimeters, so I'm going to type in 10. If your computer is in inches, just check. If your computer is in inches, please you would type in 4. I'm going to leave it on left. No leader dots, so I'm just going to say set, and it would put a tab stop at 10 centimeters. Let's click OK. There's my little tab stop. That little symbol that you see there, that is your tab stop. So I'm going to start typing here. First the left side, tel, double point, this is the telephone number, 041 space 922 space 5109, and then I'm going to type on the right hand side. So by pressing tab now, it will jump to the tab stop. Okay, and I start typing in the address that I have there. PO Box 134. I press enter. Type the fax on the left. 041 923 5111. Press tab to jump to the right. It is Kabehu Park. Press enter again, nothing on the left, so press tab again to jump to my tab stop. Port Elizabeth needs to be typed in uppercase. I have the instruction you see there. Press enter, press tab again to jump to the tab stop. 6700. 2 enters according to the manuscript signs, and I go on. Insert today's date in full. So date in full would be, today's date is the 27th April 2020. That is a date in full. The day, the month in full, and then the year. 2 enters. The sentence must be typed in uppercase and bold. If you look at the instruction, to whom it may concern, and this needs to be bold as well. So I click on the bold button, turn off the bold after I've done that. 2 enters, and now we start with a big paragraph. It says it is with confidence, and I see the I for it is underlined, and I have an instruction on the right that says uppercase, so make sure it's an uppercase I. It is with confidence, and I see confidence is underlined, and I have the instruction to type it lowercase, LC, lowercase. Then I write this later. And I see recommendation is underlined. I look for the instruction on the right. It is SP, which means spelling, so fix the spelling of recommendation for Princess Jackson. Full stop. Remember your space after a full stop. She has been a substitute teacher for a. And I see the word fifth, and the instruction on the right says figure, so it will be 5TH. And when I press space now, it will make the superscript by itself. So that must just be typed in a figure. At TG Elementary. Please check as you are typing this that you type uppercase where it's supposed to be uppercase and lowercase where it is supposed to be lowercase, otherwise you will be penalized. During this school year. Okay, then we see the little block bracket there. This indicates a new paragraph, so 2 enters during, and I see a forward slash. Again, please don't type the forward slash, you need to type the. That she acted as a substitute teacher, comma, I. And then we see always have, I always have, and we have our TRS, our transposed manuscript sign there again, so these 2 words need to turn around. I have always found her to be a very professional, comma space, competent teacher in all respects. One that is organized. Before I go any further, I see in the question paper it almost looks, after it says competent teacher, after that in your question paper it looks like there's an open line, but there's no instruction for us to create a new paragraph, so please do not create a new paragraph. organized and prepared, comma, therefore the, again we have forward slash there, and then we see learners and we have a stet. Learners is scratched out, but there's an instruction on the right that says stet, so it stays learners. Just gotta find my place. Okay, and I see the and symbol is underlined, and this just means that it needs to be typed in full. And I see needed, it's scratched. I have an instruction there on the right that says delete. So necessary, comma, we don't have the word needed. She has planned and taught, and then I see a little insert symbol. That symbol you see there means insert. What is it I need to insert? I look on the right, it would be the word effective. Full stop. 2 enters. I highly recommend Princess Jackson and believe that she will make a, and I see the word fine. Teacher is underlined, which means I need to make this italics. If you look on the right, you have an instruction for italics. Find teacher, not teachers, comma. So highlight find teacher without the comma. Apply the italics, space after the comma. One that any school would be fortunate to have. Full stop. Okay, 2 enters, even though they don't tell me, because I need to end my document with yours sincerely. I don't know why they underlined yours sincerely. There is no instruction on the right for yours sincerely. Okay, and then 3 or 4 enters, and I need to do a leader dot tab stop at 5,25 centimeters or 2,07 inches. So same steps as before. We go to paragraph, you go to tabs, we're going to set a let's try a right tab stop at 5, let's do this, 5,25 centimeters. Just careful, look at your computer. If your computer is working with commas, please make sure you use commas and not full stops. Okay, this needs to be a leader tab stop. So if we look at the question paper, it's got little dots, so we will choose the dots. We will click set. Now we have 2 tab stops. Click OK, and there's our little tab stop, and there's our other tab stop. So I'm just going to press tab. It should make the leader dots, and it should stop at the correct tab stop. If I press tab again, it will jump to the second tab stop, but I don't want that to happen. Enter, and now I just need to do my closure correctly, which means everything here would be typed in uppercase. Okay, and there we go. This is your testimonial. It counts 50 marks. You have 20 minutes to do the testimonials. Most of the marks again in this question would go for typing, so just be careful that you type it without any mistakes. Okay, question 5, paragraphs. This is on page 17. Instruction number 1 says retrieve the document saved as question 5, which means we know that we are not going to work on a clean page. We're going to retrieve a document and make some changes. So I go to file, I go to open, I go to browse, and I go to my student files folder, and I look for question 5, and I open it up. Enable editing, if it asks you this. Close that little navigation area there, and this is the document that we retrieved. Okay, so let's start with this one. Number 2 says insert your examination number and question number as a footer against the right margin. So the footer is at the bottom of the page on the right, so insert, footer, edit, footer, and this would be then on the right. At the moment we are on the left, so tab once to get to the center, tab again to get to the right, and we need to put in our footer here, which is our ID number, followed by the question number, which is question 5. Close the header and footer once you are done. Okay, let's go on. Number 4, change the line spacing of the entire document to single line spacing. 2 ways you can do this. You can highlight from the beginning to the end, or on your keyboard you can just press Ctrl and A. It will highlight everything as well. Change the line spacing to single. There we go. Okay, next step. Change the font and font size of the entire document to Courier New size 12. So again, highlight everything from start to finish and change the font to Courier New size 12. Don't worry if it makes a second page, we'll sort that out as we are going through the document. Okay, then we just have to save and print it. That we can only do once we are finished with this document. So let's get started. First sentence, what is time management? And I see the instruction there, uppercase, bold, 16 points and center. So let's start. Highlight the sentence, let's change it to uppercase, bold, must be 16 points and it must be centered. Second sentence, working smarter to enhance productivity, italics and right align. So highlight the sentence, italics and right align. Okay, and we go on. Improve, and I see there's a / there. I can't leave that. I need to type the, improve the way that you use your time, full stop. So highlight the sentence. What must happen to it? It must underline. Be careful for underlining. Do not underline the full stop at the end of a sentence, otherwise you will lose your marks for underline. Okay, so that is done. Next, definition of time management, the bold and italics. They've got it another way here in the document that we had to retrieve, so they can't penalize you if it's a mistake from the examiner's side. What I would like to do then is I would fix this myself to make sure that it looks exactly like the one we have in the question paper. And definition of time management, it must be bold and italics. Okay, there we go. Time management is the, please make sure you replace the / with the process of organizing and planning. Again, there's a mistake here because in the question paper it says planning and organizing, and we have a TRS symbol. That means transpose, which means these two words need to switch around. So organizing and planning is the way it's supposed to do. So free mark there. Let's see what else there. What must happen to this whole paragraph as well? There on the left, the whole paragraph must indent one time. We'll do that once we've done the other changes. Let's just go down until we see when time is tight and the pressure is high. When time is tight and this little symbol, we have an instruction on the right that says it must be typed in full, so just replace it with and. What else do we have? Failing to manage your time, minimizes your effectiveness, and we have an instruction for effectiveness there at the right. It says spelling. Easy way to do this: if a word is underlined in red, you can right click on it and you can find the correct spelling without you having to type anything. Let's not forget about the indent instruction. To do this, just highlight the paragraph. A quick way to do this, there's a decrease indent and an increase indent button there at the top, so just click increase indent once and we have a little indent here on the left hand side. Next paragraph, good time management requires an important shift and move. Shift and move, and we see the word shift has the stipple line under it. The instruction on the right says stet, so it needs to stay as shift. Okay, what else do we have for this paragraph? We need to apply a 3 3-point border. So select the end of the paragraph to the start. We can go, there's the little border button there. You can go to borders and shading. Make sure that it is on paragraph. We choose a box and we said this must be 3 points thick. There is your width. So change that to 3 points. There's a little preview to show you what it's going to look like. And I click on OK. There is my 3-point border. Now the manuscript sign that you see is we need an open line after that paragraph. And we go on. When spending your day in a, and there's a word that we need to insert here, and if you look on the right, the word we need to insert there is frenzy of activity you often achieve. Just fix the spelling there. You see, the problem here is, again, the sentence is a lot different from the one we have in the question paper. So let's fix this. So when spending your day in a frenzy of activities, you often achieve less. I'll say. There we go. Okay, you can leave the extra words we have here. I see that it happens that there are mistakes in question papers. Again, you can't be penalized if the mistake is not yours. So do your best to try and fix it to look the same as in the question paper. Then you should be fine. Let's go on. What is time management? And time management refers to, and again, not forward slash, we need to type in the. What must happen to this first little paragraph here? It must be center according to the manuscript signs. We have a bracket there in front of it, which means new paragraph, so make sure there's an open line on top of it. And we have an instruction for italics, but they don't tell us what must be italics, so you can make the whole paragraph then italics, I assume. Okay, let's go on. Next instruction, we have a little list here, and our list does not look like the one in the question paper, so let's fix this quickly. Greater productivity and efficiency, we've got that. A better professional reputation, we got that. Less stress, we've got that. Increased opportunities for advancement, we've got that. Greater opportunities to achieve important life and career goals, we've got that. And I'm not going to even add the rest because they did not tell us to add any words here. So what you do, we just follow the instructions. It says apply any bullet at indent 1 centimeters and change the line spacing to 1,5. Okay, so let's just grab this paragraph. Okay, so we are supposed to apply any bullet of our choice and indent at 1 centimeter and then line spacing 1.5. Okay, so the bullets you'll find here, I've highlighted the sentences that need to have bullets. So the bullets you will find up here. By clicking on the arrow, you can choose which bullet it is you want to use. They don't specify one, so you're more than welcome to use any bullet that you want. So choose a bullet. And what we're going to do now is we need to indent it 1 centimeter. You will see it's already indented, but we need to indent it by a specific amount. So with the paragraph still highlighted, go to the paragraph group launcher, look for indentation. Indentation, then we would type in 1 there. Again, make sure that your computer is on centimeters. We can see the right shows us the centimeters, so we just type in 1. Click on OK. Now these bullets are indented by 1 centimeter. Next thing we need to do is we need to change the line spacing of these paragraphs to 1.5. So with the paragraph still highlighted, go to the line spacing, change it to 1.5. Okay, I don't think we need to do this one, so that one I'm just going to change back to single line spacing. Okay, next. This last paragraph here, I can see the S is underlined for spending, and the instruction I have on the right is uppercase, so S for spending. We need to fix the spacing. They don't tell us which spacing to use, so we can't do that instruction. And then last instruction is write a line. Total marks for this question is 30. It should go quicker than the other questions because we don't really type in this question. Everything is typed already, we just need to make the changes. So that's that for question number 5. The only problem I have with this question, I see the document that we retrieved has a picture in, and there's no picture in our question paper, so you have a choice. You can either leave it in or you can take it out. If I were you, just to make it look neater and to print on one page, I would click on the picture, press delete, fix the line spacing there, and this would make our document then fit on one page, which is a lot neater. Only do this when there is no specific instructions about the picture. Like I said, try and fix the mistakes as far as you can. If there's a mistake on the question paper, you cannot get penalized. Okay, question 6, the curriculum vitae or CV. Information for this question. The principal requested you to edit the following document, and we have some instructions there. First instruction says retrieve the document saved as question 6. So already we know we're not going to start a new document. We are going to open an existing document. In this case, you will find it in your ODP student files folder. You will find question 6. We go. Remember to click on enable editing and then okay, second instruction says insert your examination number and question number as a footer against the right margin. So again, insert footer, we choose edit footer, it has to be on the right, so tab to get to the center, tab again to get to the right, put in your ID number followed by question 6. Close the header footer once you're done. And let's go on. It says edit the document or edit the content of the document as indicated in the following text. And then it says change the left and right margin of the document to 0.5 inches or 1,25 centimeters. So we go to layout, margins, custom margins. Left must be 1,25, right must be 1,25, and I click on OK. Just say ignore, and there we go. Okay, so it's a very small margin, it's half an inch, it's very, very small. Then it says insert page numbers, top left of each page. So insert, and we look for page number, top of page, top left. So there we go, there's our page numbers. We can close that. It will number the second and third page by itself when we go there. Next one, save the document as question 6, print the document. Again, that we can only do when we are finished with the document. So let's start with our document. Curriculum vitae, I see my manuscript signs there tell me to make it uppercase and to make it bold. Okay, so I've got it uppercase and bold. Then, according to the manuscript signs, we need some open lines here. So it's going to be 3 open lines, 3 open lines. Okay, and what else? And then we look at the of. There's a manuscript sign that tells me that O must be lowercase. Zanele, Anna, and we have to delete Anna. And we need to change this to uppercase as well. So let's change it to uppercase. And then I don't see the ID number, we will have to add the ID number here as well. So let's add the ID number. ID, and it's 87090504528081. Okay, and I've got a few enters we need to press there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. Okay, this also has an instruction to center it, so we will center the curriculum vitae. Then we need to look at the telephone number here. There's a state there, so you look at the number with the stipple lines. That is the one it's supposed to be. It will be 4558. Okay, nothing that has changed with the cell number. On the right, Port Elizabeth needs to be uppercase. We have the manuscript sign UC there that tells us it must be uppercase. The rest of it looks fine. Now be very careful. What we need to do here is we need to put in a tab stop as well. You'll see the instruction there for this side. It says put in a right tab stop at 7.4 inches or 18.5 centimeters. So what you need to do, highlight this paragraph. We go to paragraphs, we say tabs, and we put in a right tab stop there. So make sure it is on right tab stop, and this would be 18.5 centimeters. We say set, and you say okay. So the tab stop is way here on the right. So what needs to happen here is, instead of having all these spaces here, you can take out all these spaces and press tab to make that address, to make a jump to the tab stop. So we're going to do the same thing for Port Elizabeth. Take out the spaces, press tab. Same thing for the code. Take out the spaces, press tab. There we go. Okay, don't change any line spaces unless they tell you to change it. Just keep following the instructions. So we've done everything we need to do there. What we need to do now is put in a page break. This will push all of this information to the next page. So I click in front of personal details, I go insert, and you will find your page break there. So click on page break, it pushes all that information to the second page. Okay, so let's go on. Now we've got a left tab stop. First instruction, there is a left tab stop at 3.35 inches or 8.5 centimeters. And then we've got some other instructions we need to do there as well. So let's start with the tab stop. So I'm not going to highlight anything this time. I'm just going to go to Home tab. I'm going to press the paragraph group launcher. I'm going to go to tabs, and I am looking at the centimeters, and it must be 8.5 centimeters. It must be a left tab stop, so I will set that. Click OK. The problem is now if I click somewhere else, the tab stop goes away, so it might be a better idea just to highlight everything on the second page. And let's do this quickly again. So 8.5, it's a left, and I say set, and I click OK. Now it doesn't matter where I click, the tab stop will stay at the top. Normally it's a good idea to create a tab stop before you start typing the document, but because this document is already typed, you will need to highlight the areas that you want to use the tab stop in. So let's go. Personal details. There's an instruction next to it that says key in all underlined words in uppercase and delete the other underline. So in other words, this must be uppercase, no underline. So that will be uppercase. Surname will be uppercase. Let's do them first. Okay, surname, this one, date of birth, marital status, nationality, address, and if we turn the page, it would be driver's license, health, okay, and that looks like all of them. Okay, so we've done the headings on the left. These will go on the left, and we're going to use the tab stop to get the physical information on the right hand side. I just want to fix some things here. If you look at date of birth, marital status, nationality, address, and the rest of them, the uppercase ones, there is no space after the words before the double points we have there. So please make sure that the first two look like that as well. Okay, and now we're going to use the tab stop. We're going to use the tab stop to move these to the right. So just click in front of the word, press tab, it will jump to your tab stop. We can take out the spaces if we want, but like I said, they will not print. We're gonna fix the address when we get there. For now, just keep pushing them to your tab stop. Okay, there we go. Let's see what else needs to do there. We need to move gender. If you look at the manuscript sign there, we have a little arrow. We need to move gender to under date of birth. So what we can do, do we have a gender? We don't have a gender yet. So we need to type this in under date of birth. So there is, oh, this is gonna have to change. We have sex on the page, they have gender on the page. So I'm just gonna fix this one. This one is gonna be gender. So we need to move this one. A quick way to move, just highlight the sentence that you want to move. Click on cut. It will take it out completely, but don't worry. And this needs to go under date of birth. So after date of birth, press enter and then just click on the paste button. There is your gender. Just fix the line spacing as well. We need to insert after surname. We need another heading that says names, and then we need to type in this person's name as well. So after the surname, press enter. This has to be done in uppercase, so names, double point, press the tab to jump to the tab stop, and type in the names they want you to type in there. There we go. Okay. There by the date of birth, we see that it must be typed in full. So if you look at this, this is going to be what, September, the 5th of September 1980. So let's type this one in full. It will be 05 September 1987. There we go. Okay, so this is your date in full then. And then if you look at the right, just above address, this does not include address. If you look on the right, this must be done in double line spacing. You have a manuscript sign that says DS. Now DS means double line spacing. So just change the line spacing of that to double. There we go. Okay. Let's fix this address quickly. If you look at the address at the bottom of page 19, it says 87 Van Jever Street, and then we see that we have to make a new line. This is not going to be a new paragraph, it is going to be a new line. There we go. Let's go on. Okay, driver's license, code 10, and I see 10. I must type the number instead of the word. It says number. And then health is excellent. And again, the instruction we have here for these two sentences is double line spacing. So do the same that we did before. Okay, I'm just going to press enter there so that there must be an open line or open space. We have open spaces there because of the line spacing. I just want this to look the same. There must be an open space between the address and the driver's license description there. Okay. Sentence here at the bottom, experience, space, January 2016 to December 2016, space, receptionist, and we have a spelling mistake there that we need to fix. At IT computers, full stop, and then we need to type a little sentence here. It says run on. Run on means that last paragraph must be part of this paragraph. So we just continue typing after this paragraph. So let's go January 2017 to present. Personal assistant for the, and then we see our little TRS transpose symbol there. It just means these two words need to swap around, so it would be managing director of Walton's Computers. Okay, and there we go. This is question, or that is question 6, your curriculum vitae. It goes over 2 pages. You will see that it created the second page number by itself. So you just print this one out. Quite an easy question to do. Only thing you need to look out for here is the tab stops. Just make sure you've used the correct tab stops and that the CV looks professional. Okay, question 7, spreadsheets. Prepare the spreadsheet of the employee's payslip for December. Create the spreadsheet in MS Excel using the font Arial 10 or Calibri 11 point. So we need to create a blank workbook. This is now Microsoft Excel. So first thing I'm going to do is check my font. When you change a font, if you want to change the font of the whole spreadsheet, make sure to click where the column and row headings get together. It will highlight the whole spreadsheet. Otherwise, if you leave it there and you just change the font, it's just going to change the font for this one block. So they tell me my font must be Arial size 10 or Calibri size 11. Mine is Calibri size 11 at the moment, so nothing I'm going to change there. Then they say insert a left header as set out below. Now I know we can use this way to do headers and footers, but I do not like to do it this way, because as soon as I click header and footer there, it messes up the way my Excel looks. To fix this, just go to view and choose normal. The way I like to do headers is I like to go to page layout, the page setup, group launcher, header and footer, and I like to do them from here. I just find that it works easier. Okay, so we need to put in a header on the left as follows. So we will say custom header. You have a left, you have a center and a right section. We're going to do it on the left. It's your examination number, followed by question 7a. Click OK, click OK again. We have our header in. You can go to File, you can go to Print, and if you have a printer installed, it should show you a print preview. There you'll see your header. It's in as soon as you put it in. Okay, and it says key in the spreadsheet exactly as set out below. Do not type the row and column headings. In other words, do not type the A, B, C, or the 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just put in your question paper to help you see where to type everything. Display numbers as currency with 2 decimals, so just keep that in mind. We will do that once we are done with the document. Adjust the column width to allow for the contents of each column to fit. Columns that are too large will be penalized. So we just need to make sure that our column widths are correct when we are finished typing. And then it says use the method you are familiar with to apply the borders. Do not or no left and right outside borders. I'll show you how to do that once we get there. Then we have to print the spreadsheet using A4 landscape orientation and save as question 7a. So I'm going to do that first. I'm going to go to page layout, orientation, and change it to landscape already, just to make sure that I don't forget that it must be in landscape. Okay, let's start typing. This would be on page 21 now. It says payslip for the month of December. Name, nation, department, working days. As you type, just be careful, make sure that you look at the casing. Just going to adjust that column to make sure these fit. So D. To adjust the columns to make sure everything fits in the second column. Normally your Excel questions go much quicker than your Word questions because it is not as much you need to type. Column C, gonna fix the column width, type in the numbers quickly here. 108 920 89 417 944 197 5 and 3. Date of joining 17 Feb. Days payable 30. Okay, so I've done the top part there. Don't worry too much about this number. I'll show you how to fix it in a moment. Let's fix it before we go on. All you do, click on the cell where that number is giving that strange error, and just type that little symbol that is next to your 1 and press enter. It should fix it. Or what we can do to fix this, click on the number, go to your home tab, go to your format, and let's go to more formatting options. General. Let's make it a number, but take out the decimal places. So number, make the decimal places 0. Let's see. Okay, this fixes it. So there's many ways to fix this. That's just one of the ways you have to fix that. Okay, let's go on. Earnings. Please pay attention to where you are supposed to type everything. Make sure that you are typing in the correct cells. This one would then be 800. I know it says 800 Rand in the question paper. We will change that afterwards. Do not type in the R. Do not type in the .00. It's not necessary. We will fix that afterwards. Then we have deductions, which go there. Deductions. Pension fund, medical aid, insurance. Okay, next to insurance, 450 Rand. We're just going to leave that at 450. On open line there. Total earnings. Total deductions. Again, please make sure that your columns are wide enough to accommodate all the information. Do not make them too wide, otherwise you will be penalized, as they said in the beginning. Okay, and we have one more thing to type, net pay. Okay, let's start with the numbers. It would be that number and that number. That must be currency. So you can highlight all of the numbers there like that, or you can do them one at a time. I would advise you, all these numbers will have to be in currency, not the employee number, not the bank account number, just these numbers here for earnings and deductions. So you can highlight everything, and we can just say currency. Okay, it will put in the R by its own, it will put in the comma 00 by its own. So that's why I said you don't need to type them. So that was instruction 7.3, the one we said we must remember. Display numbers as currency with 2 decimals. Okay, then instruction number 7.5 says use the method you are familiar with to apply the borders, no left and right outside borders, which means we're not supposed to have a border here on the outside or that side. Okay, so what we're going to start doing is we're going to put in the borders. There are many different ways to do them. Use the way that you are comfortable with. I am going to use my way to do this. Okay. What we can do, I want to see what the easiest way is going to be to do this. So let's do it like this. I am going to start with all borders. There. All borders there. I'm not doing it on the left and right because we don't want this line on the outside. Those we will have to do manually. You can draw them in with a little pencil as well. You have a little draw border button that if you click on it, it turns into a pencil, so you can go and draw in these borders as well, or you can use the other choices we have there as well. So if we draw them like this, it should not make a border on the outside. If you make a mistake, you will find the eraser tool is there as well, and you can take out borders. If you want to switch off the pencil, you click on draw borders again. But let's keep it on for now so that we make our borders look exactly like the ones we have in the question paper. Please do not spend too much time on this. Try and do it quickly. Remember, I always tell my students, your worst enemy with office data processing question papers is time. You don't have time to mess around. You need to do this as quickly as possible. You have 3 hours to finish this question paper, and it is quite a lot of work to do. Okay, we've got a border here as well, and then we see we have a double border. So this we can try my way, the easier way. There is a bottom double border, or we can use top and double bottom border. It will make it look like the one in the question paper. As soon as you're finished with this question, please make sure that you save it, because you are going to need it again, and they tell us to save this as question 7a. So I'm just going to go File, Save As, Browse. I'm going to make sure that I'm in my documents, and I'm going to call this question 7a. This one then, as soon as you finish with it, you print it, and I'm going to leave it open to go to question 7b. Question 7b is the second part of this question. It's normally the longer part. Okay, the first part's only typing. You print this one out, and you start with the second question, question 7b, page 22. And what I want to look for is at the very end, it tells me what to save this thing as. So before I start making any changes, because this is our question 7a, I am going to go to Save As again, and I'm going to save it again as question 7b. This, if you go to Save As again, I just want to show you, I have question 7a and question 7b now, in case I make a mistake. So let's start, let's fix this one. It says 7.7, retrieve the spreadsheet question 7a, change the question number in the header to question 7b. So I've retrieved it, this was my 7a, so now I just need to go fix that header. So I go back to the header, footer, custom header, just change question 7a to question 7b. Here we go. It says 7.8 says, edit the spreadsheet as indicated below, and on the document on the next page you have questions, a list of questions, and then you have an example or more questions on the second page as well. So let's get started with this. 7.8.1 says, merge and center the heading in row 1 across columns A to D. So I will highlight from A1 up until D1, and then I will merge and center. This you'll find in the Home tab, merge and center. Change the heading in row 1 to 14 point and bold. So click on this one, bold, size 14. Delete row 9 and row 14. So let's just look, that is row 9, that is row 14. Make sure you remember where they are, because as soon as we delete row 9, this one is not going to be row 14 anymore. Easy way to do this, just click on the number, and there is a delete button at the top. So it's that row, and you see this one changed to 13 now because we deleted row 9. So it's those two open rows we were supposed to delete. 7.8.4, change row headings to bold. These would be your row headings. These would then be changed to bold. These are your headings, so change them to bold. Okay. It could either be those, just those. I don't know if it's supposed to be these, but these are headings as well, so I would change them to bold as well. Okay, let's go on. 7.8.5, change the text housing to housing allowance. So you look for housing, and this needs to change to housing allowance. Please fix your column width as soon as you've done that. Okay, there we go. 7.8.6, merge and center the heading earnings. Where's earnings? Across columns A and B, and change to italics. So just highlight, then A8 B8, merge and center, and make it italics. Okay, there we go. Then it says 7.8.7, merge and center the heading earnings across columns C and D. I think they mean deductions, not earnings. We've already done earnings, so I think they mean deductions. And this must also be italics. Okay, there we go. 7.8.8, type in the full date given for the joining date. There's your date of joining, so we have to type this in full. So this would be 17 February 2014. Make sure your column width is correct. Let's go on. Change the text in row 15 to uppercase, bold and italics. Uppercase, bold and italics. There is, so uppercase, let's just retype this. Uppercase, it's already bold. Uppercase, bold and italics. Okay, not underline, italics. There we go. Okay, then we have formulas we need to use, so you will need to look at page 22 and page 23 to see where you need to do these formulas. Number 1 or number A says calculate the following. Basic salary, so this is your basic salary, is 500 Rand times 30. So we start with equals 500 multiply with 30. Okay, remember the little star is your multiply symbol in Excel. Press enter to get the answer, so that would be 15,000. Tax, RSA, there we go, there's tax. We know it's a formula, so we're going to start with equals. It says basic salary, so I don't type in a number now, I click on my basic salary multiplied by 15%, just like that. Enter to get the answer, so that would be 2,250. Okay, pension fund, okay, there it is, equals again. Pension fund says basic salary multiplied by 2%, and I press enter. Medical aid, okay, this time they give me the number, it's 160 multiplied by 3. Okay, total earnings, it is the sum of earnings, so equals sum, open bracket, highlight the two numbers you want to add together, close the bracket, press enter. Total deductions would be equals sum, open bracket, highlight all the numbers you want to add together, close the bracket. Okay. And then net pay is equals total earnings minus total deductions, and I press enter, and there we go. I've got my answers in. It says 7.8.11 says adjust the column width to allow the contents of each column to fit. So just double check, do all your columns fit neatly? Yes, they do. Then 7.8.12, display number as currency with 2 decimals. Are all these numbers currency with 2 decimals? Yes, they are, because if you remember question 7a, we highlighted everything and changed it to currency. Print and save the spreadsheet as question 7b. Print and save the question as question 7b. Okay, and that's that for the question paper. For the November 2019 question paper. It is 300 marks total. You have 3 hours in which to complete this whole question paper. 3 hours might sound like a lot, but it is not. That's why I said, you guys, when you do these question papers, please don't waste time. Just go through it as quickly and as accurately as you can.